You know, one of these days he's gonna workplace violence us, right?
You're listening to the Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
Hey! All right, you're in the Arms Room with Glenn
and John.
Wow, how long's it been, John?
4 weeks.
4 weeks, a whole month.
Yeah.
So sad without you, but we've still had fun anyways.
I'm sure you guys have.
Indeed we have. Indeed we have.
I, on the other hand, did not.
Come on, man. Army training is awesome.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. That's all I'll say about that.
All right. So I want to talk. We've only have a few minutes before our guest today calls in. We'll talk about that in a second because Mason was having some difficulties this morning plugging, I don't know, slot A into slot B or something. I don't know what's problem.
Why are you going to put my business out there?
So I want to talk about something we did this weekend. We had the Veterans Appreciation Day with Concerned Veterans for America out at Cowtown Range. And it was a pretty amazing event. And part of the reason it was so incredible was because not only the, I think, 36 vets and shooters that we had out there, but also the sponsors that we had. Because the sponsors made it totally possible. I mean, we donated ammo, we had donated guns, we had donated prizes. Every single shooter walked away with something. Most of them walked away with multiple things. And, you know, it's interesting when we start contacting sponsors for special events like this, especially veterans events. There's a lot of sponsors who say, oh, well, yeah, you know, we support the troops or whatever. And then you go, well, hey, would you mind donating anything? I mean, a small item. I don't care what it is, anything, a small gift certificate, anything like that. Oh, yeah, well, maybe not so much. You know what I mean? So it's like there's always going to be companies who really put their money where their mouth is. And I'm going to read the list of sponsors that we had, because if you're listening to this, these are the people I want you to do business with first. Right. I mean, we had our shop local thing a couple of weeks ago, you know, where we talked about some of the local companies. You're going to recognize some of those companies. There's several of them on here, right? There's several local companies from Arizona that are going to be listed on here. So listen up to this list. Obviously, we had Concerned Veterans for America. You know, they're the ones who helped organize the entire event. Independence Training, who donated all the range safety officers, who donated all the firearms and everything like that. HexMag, Cowtown Range, Arizona, which of course donated the entire range for our use. Wilderness Tactical, TCB Holsters, Buckeye Ammunition, the Arms Room, we donated some gear to the event. AR-500 Armor, LRK Mechanical, Precision 3D Targets, Shooter Zoo, Fathom Arms, Modern Arms, Battle Comp, Redwire Gear, John's company, Psionics Weapon Systems. And then we had a couple of private donors that also donated some gear and some ammunition to the event. So really incredible.
And cigars.
And Mason, the president of what club are you president of?
The Taliban Cigar Aficionado Club.
That's right. How many members are there?
There's actually a ton of members, like thousands of members, but my chapter was
your chapter, two members in your chapter. You were the president, right?
Yep.
Awesome. But Mason, who is a appreciator of fine cigars, actually did bring out cigars for anyone who wanted one. So that was also really cool. Very, very cool. Mason was also one of the RSOs out there, as was our good friend Brad Pace and also Bill Cranston. So two really great people who came out there and donated their time, their effort, their energy to run the shooting stages and help guys, you know, get dialed in with the guns. And everybody just had a phenomenal time. It was a really, really awesome event. Please be sure to check out the Concerned Veterans for America website, cv4a.org, Charlie Victor, 4 alpha.org. Check them out. Awesome organization, nonprofit, really doing good work to help veterans. So today we're going to have Darrell Morrow on the phone with us. And Darrell's from Vertex. He's the vice president of Vertex. And of course, we know Vertex because we love their pants.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it just sounds crazy, but I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb when I'm wearing certain types of pants. I don't like to stick out like a sore thumb anyways, but like when you have these pants with like 12 pockets on them, these big billowy pockets.
You mean we're not supposed to wear multicam pants everywhere we
also
go?
That, yeah, also that. So like what's nice about Vertex pants is, and Darrell will tell us more about this when he calls in, but you know, they've really kind of nailed the market on making very, very functional pants that are really comfortable, really durable, have plenty of cargo space, but look like some pants you bought at like you know, some store at the mall. You know what I mean? I mean, they just look like really comfortable.
The cargo pockets do not stick out.
No.
They also did a really good job with their bags and stuff.
So they've got a line of bags. They've got some belts. They've got shirts now. They've got all kinds of stuff. I think it started all with the pants. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out more from Darrell. But I know that's certainly where we heard about them was the whole pants and trying to, you know, find clothing that is functional but doesn't make you stick out, you know, as a gun carrier or a firearms carrier or, you know, a tactical Timmy or anything like that. So, you know, if you haven't looked at any of the Vertex products, you really ought to. And Vertex is just VRTX. You know, really, really great products. So while we're still waiting for Darrell to give us a call. Oh, he's calling. Oh, perfect. That's phenomenal. All right, go ahead, Mason, put him on. All right, Darrell, you with us?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. You?
Fantastic. Thanks for calling into the Arms Room. Really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we were just kind of talking about Vertex pants and why we like them so much, that they don't make us, you know, stick out like a tactical Timmy, and they don't make us, you know, stand out as firearms carriers or you know, military guys or anything like that. So give us a little bit about what you do for Vertex, how Vertex got started, and kind of what some of your first products or your first ideas were.
Well, so I'm the vice president of Vertex, so I oversee pretty much the sales aspect, but also product development, working with end users and developing products that, you know, make a difference as far as being able to get them to do their job or allow them to do their job better. And it's funny you talking about, you know, pants and sticking out like a sore thumb. Not 10 minutes or about 20 minutes ago, I was eating lunch and I was leaving just a little local restaurant, and this guy had a pair of, you know, competitors' tack pants on. And then he wasn't doing a very good job of concealing his firearm either. He was printing really bad. And so I asked him, you know, if he was a cop. He's like, no, I'm just a concealed carry holder. So I said, well, you might want to adjust your apparel to look a little bit less obvious. So I got to talking to him, and he's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So Vertex, you know, we came about through a cooperative effort several years ago with a top federal agency and Arc'teryx as a design firm. And so the agency asked for a low-profile tactical pant, and our parent company is Fetchheimer, which we make flying cross uniforms. So we're a 173-year-old company. We make the Marine Corps dress blues and about a third of all public safety uniforms. So anyway, so basically what boiled down to is you had world-class design with Arc'teryx, world-class end user with this federal agency, and world-class manufacturing with Fetchheimer. And so that's how Vertex was born. So the Vert from Vertex comes from covert, and the X comes from a nod to Arc'teryx. So we have a design relationship with Arc'teryx. They helped out with our original pants, and they've helped out with a few other pieces, but it's kind of springboarded us into that low-profile, fully functional apparel and gear. So now we have our own in-house design that we work on numerous products from everyday carry bags, and then we've got some new stuff coming out, and then more of the overt, you know, combat shirt that we're launching, and then more kind of aggressive pants. But overall, we try to make things easier for people to do their jobs on a daily basis.
Now, when we met you at SHOT Show, one of the things that we were talking about was kind of the gray man concept, right? Which is something we've talked about a lot on the show, and the whole idea of being a gray man, everything from how you dress and how you act in public to, you know, the kind of stickers you put on your car to the kind of things that you post on social media and online, everything. It's kind of like general OPSEC, you know. How does Vertex, how do not only your products, but kind of your company's ethos, I should say, how does that really gear itself towards that gray man idea?
Well, if you think about one of the things that stuck with me is the Tactical Mindset by Jeff Cooper. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so white, basically you're a sheep. You have no awareness of your surroundings, and then yellow is you're aware that you're prepared that something can happen. Orange is when you've identified the threat, and red is when you're actually engaging and going to battle. So we make solutions for tactically minded people, with tactical mindset. So people that wake up and live in a yellow state of mind, if you will. Through some of our pro staffers, Jim Smith being one of them. He was the Delta sniper on Super 6-1 during the whole Black Hawk Down. He talks about it a lot. And you can live your life on a daily basis in yellow, in a constant state of preparedness. Orange is a little bit exhausting because you're getting into just all of your senses are super heightened all the time. But so we take that thought process of living in a yellow state of mind, if you will, and looking at products that what can we do that allows me to live my life on a daily basis. But if in case of something happens, we need to get to those emergency essentials. So like for our bags, for instance, all of our bags from the outside do not look like carry bags. And then even if you're opening them up and going through them and getting your laptop out or getting whatever, we make a separate compartment that's readily accessible if you need it. And I'll take it one step further, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be with a firearm. It's being a prepared professional. And what are the chances that you get in a gunfight every day if you're concealed carrying? They're not that likely. But what's the chances that you see a car wreck, you're in a car wreck, or you trip and fall and hit your head on something? There's tons of things that can happen, and by having not just defensive tools, but also medical supplies. If you're going to carry a gun, you better carry something that can stop the bleeding. Also, that's train of thought. And so we try to look at what are the people that are in a heightened yellow state of mind, in the tactical mindset, and what are the products that they need, and that's kind of how we base our product development, because we ask end users. We work with extremely respectable people in the industry, such as Jim Smith, Matt Jaques, Tim Kennedy, and these are all people that have been there and done that. And we by no means think we're experts on a lot of things. We know how to make apparel and gear, but it's working with these end users that really make a difference.
Now, I know one of your packs that I saw at SHOT Show a couple of years ago that really got me excited, just from a standpoint of, you touched on the point of, look, not your chance of getting involved in a gunfight every day as a normal person is really low. And B, not everybody who wants to necessarily live this lifestyle either does carry a firearm everywhere they go or can legally do so. And so, but they can still have a pack that gives them quick access to medical supplies. But one of the cool things I liked about one of your packs, I don't remember what the model is, you can probably tell me, but I remember one of your reps was showing us.
Gamut.
Is that the Gamut? The one
that I have?
Is it the one that you can slide your arm through the back and basically use this as a shield? Like you can put like armor in there, right?
Yeah. Yes. So this goes to, there's a funny story about that is so whenever we were working on the bag, one of the principles in all of our bags is that they're insert compatible. So every single bag has a little zipper on the inside. There's a depending on the bag, it's either a polymer or sometimes it's a foam padding. But it's built to give the bag some rigidity. But if you take that out, you can easily slide in a panel in there. And so the original design. So once you have armor in the bag, that's what it's designed for. But the original design was to go over your luggage trolley on a carry handle on a piece of luggage. And as we're playing with that, I put my arm through it, and I was joking around with our designer, and I was like, "Yeah, we could use this as an impromptu Captain America." And I was like, "I don't think I'm ever going to repeat that because that just sounds silly." Well, sure enough, as soon as we got in that product development meeting, I got a room full of cops and military guys, and I show them that, and then every single one of them was like, "Oh yeah, that's a shield." And so it's just with that, those little things that as a design team and working with end users, that sometimes the best innovations are well thought out, and sometimes it's just sheer luck that you did that. But this one was kind of a combination of both. but yeah, it's a feature that we put and will put on pretty much all of our bags moving forward, is to be able to have a piece of armor in your bag, and then if you need to get into an aggressive stance where you're actually going towards the sound of the gunfire, you're able to have some protection. Even our newest small bag that we launched at SHOT, called our Essentials bag, it's basically it's a MERS, it's a man purse size bag, but if you put an 8x10 piece of armor in it, and then you've got it in your weak side, and then you've got strong side with your with a handgun, you can actually cover your center, your chest and even your face somewhat if you're going in an offensive situation.
Yeah, but see, I think something like that is really great because it still gives you the capability to, like I said, let's say I don't carry a firearm, or I'm somewhere where it's illegal to carry a firearm, I can't legally do it. Now I have some level of protection. I think about kids at schools or people in office buildings or something like that, where they can have a backpack that doesn't look super tactical, but it still gives them the capability to defend themselves. And God forbid that maybe I am in a situation and I do have a firearm, that support hand doesn't have to be on the gun if it's holding up some level of protection while I'm trying to get out of a situation, or maybe even where I'm trying to, move in and close distance with an aggressor. I would love to not get shot during that process. It's like we're such big proponents of the personal ownership of body armor that if I can take something like that and incorporate it into a daily piece of equipment, why not do that? It totally makes sense. So I agree. You were kind of making a joke about it, but I think it's probably been a pretty big hit, right?
Yeah, and I've talked to, just like everybody, you've got friends in the industry, and then you've got friends that aren't in the industry. And when you start talking to ones that aren't in the industry, especially, I've talked to several school teachers that I know, and, for them to be able to have that with them, if you're moving away from the sound of the gunfire, you put, the bag on, it's on your back, and it's in the system, it's covering all your, vital organs in your back. But as a teacher, if you're trying to guide children out of a school, and I'm a father, I've got two small kids, and I think about it daily, and what would happen if there was a school shooting, and I would want their teacher to be able to provide some protection. The world we live in today, it's not if, it's when. There's going to be people that are going to do bad things, and just being as prepared as you can for the situations is the only way we can go about our daily lives and not freak out, when you wake up in the morning.
Well, the trick is that, it's important to understand that none of this stuff comes from a level of paranoia. I'm with you. I got little kids. When I put them in the care of somebody else, I am a little nervous about that because I'm not going to be there to protect them. And sometimes the people that you put your kids in care of, you're like, I don't really know if those people are capable of protecting them either. And so it's not a level of paranoia, however. It's just simply us recognizing that the world is not as it ought to be. We can't control everything in the world. And so if we can set ourselves up for success, or maybe even in this case, set our kids up for success, I think sometimes the idea of sending your kid to school with a sheet of soft armor, in their backpack, to some people may seem crazy, but to me, I say, I bet some of those kids who were in, some of these school shootings would have loved to have some level of protection.
Yeah. And the way we set our bags up, you don't even, my kids, any young kid, you don't even have to tell them. It's just, here's your new backpack.
Right.
There's a, once they get to a certain age, not to get into, raising, thought process on how people ought to raise their kids, but
right.
They need to be aware that, I've always taught my kids, gun safety 101, what do you do if you find a, gun, you go get an adult and all that other good stuff. But also I do talk to them about if bad people come into their school, what they need to do. And so it's, it's one of those things where parents and just people in general, it's a very difficult subject to talk about with anyone, much less your child who's in school. So just getting them in that yellow state of mind also. But, back to the whole gray man process and what it is, it's being able to not stick out like a sore thumb. It's like that guy today at lunch. He's just screaming, hey, look at me, I have a gun. And then I'm looking at him and he did have a gun. So if I am doing something bad, he's going to get, if I'm the bad guy, I look at him and he's going to get shot first.
Right.
So that's what we try to do with a lot of our products, is to really give you that, just kind of that hide in plain sight. I don't have to draw attention to myself, but I might have a firearm and extra mags and, all kind of other goodies on me, but I'm not broadcasting that to the general public.
Well, and to go back to some of your other products too, like your pants products, when you guys designed those pants, because I think when I bought my first pair, they had some kind of diagram with like, here's all the different things you can put in the pockets, and the pockets were kind of sized. They weren't just like, hey, let's put a pocket on these pants. These pockets are designed specifically for certain piece of equipment. And I know that, part of the reason I like the way that these pockets are set up is how easy it is to put equipment in them and access that equipment. So let's talk about that for a second before we have to take our first break. Kind of tell me a little bit more about why your pants, because they're so low profile, how did you accomplish a low profile pant that was still capable of easy access to equipment?
Well, that was kind of the key premise is how do we incorporate a 6-pocket, tactical pant, if you will, into a nondescript looking pair of pants. And the easiest, the thing we found was that every other pant manufacturer that has a cargo pocket pretty much just sews for lack of a better term, sews a bag on the outside of the leg. Mm. And they put a pleat in it, and when you put stuff in it, whether it be magazines or cell phone or whatever, it starts bellowing out and causing the material to become more obvious that you have things in your pockets. So we actually cut where our pocket is. We actually cut that fabric out and recess it into the pant, and then it bellows to the back. Another thing that everybody always uses is Velcro. And so if you're ever in a stealth situation, I'm not talking James Bond stuff. If you're in the movie theater and you got your cell phone in your pocket and you don't want to be a jerk, you can get in there without making any noise. And that was a key feature also. So we don't use any Velcro on our products as well. And then, designing, if you ask everybody to do a pocket dump, you have 10 people, you're going to get 10 different things. So we try to take the most common things, magazines, cell phones, multi-tools, and build pockets that are going to fit a variety of items. And so, and then doing little things like on the back pockets, putting, a wallet trap in there. So if you've got your wallet on you and you don't have to worry about it coming out during the course of the day. So it's all just, trying to take that 50,000 foot view of looking, what things work as a whole, and but still trying to get them as specialized as possible. So you're not very generic and you're sewing and laying out of the pocketing on everything.
Well, I know one of the things I like the most on the front pockets, the front slash pockets, I guess they're called, is that when you come down on that slash, there's kind of also this little flat part, I guess. I don't really know what you guys call it, but where your knife or your light would clip in. And so now when I go to insert my hand into that pocket to pull out my keys or whatever else may be in my front pocket, my hand's not getting snagged on the knife or the light or whatever I'm clipping in there, because it's kind of out of the way. And it also reduces the wear of that clip coming on and off that pair of pants. Because I've ripped pants pockets off of quote unquote tactical pants before, just because that clip comes on and off that pocket so many times throughout the day and throughout the life of the pants that I'll destroy a front pocket. The rest of the pants are not unserviceable, but the pocket's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that that's one of the other key features is our knife pocket, and it's like you said. It's just it's built to accommodate a tool, a flashlight, anything like that has a clip on it, and not allow you to still get your hand in your pocket. For whatever reason, ever since I was a kid, I always carried my wallet in my front pocket. And I know exactly what you're talking about, trying to get something out, especially if you're sitting down and you've got a knife or a flashlight on. It's a pain. So that's another key feature that we've done on our pant, along with the little zipper concealment pocket on the right side. So where if you want to have something that you do not want coming out of your pocket during the course of the day, unless you intend for it, that's another little added feature that we do also. And so it's all about functionality, but also about the fit. People forget that we're a 173-year-old apparel manufacturer, so we know how to make pants, and so that's what and making pants and shirts for some of the most demanding people out there, the Marines, Navy, and then all public safety. we took a lot of that know-how and engineering and put it into, the knees with the articulation, so you don't have to worry about the binding on you, the gusset and the crotch, which is not very sexy sounding, but you don't have to worry about blowing out the seat in your pants. So there's a lot of engineering and thought process that has gone into our pants and then all of our products, and we take pride in that. And that we're designing products for people that may or may not get into a gunfight or go into a situation where they're going to have to risk their life to do something, and we take that very seriously.
Well, we got to take our first break. Just hang on the phone with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other products you make, and also the idea. I like your guys' marketing of the tactical athlete. So I want to talk a little bit more about that and kind of where that came from. And so when we come back from our break, those are kind of the topics I want to hit on. And we'll be back in about 4 minutes. You're listening to The Arms Room.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Veterans served us, now it's time we serve them. As a veteran of Afghanistan and Iraq, as well as a current military member deployed abroad, I would like to take a minute of your time to tell you about Patriot Hills of New York. Patriot Hills of New York is a nonprofit organization providing support to veterans and their families. They partner veterans in need with over 65 health and wellness organizations, community groups, as well as philanthropic foundations providing no or low-cost services. They've helped over 400 veterans through confidential referral services, assistance with veterans issues, employment placement, as well as educational opportunities. If you need assistance or just want to help veterans by donating your time or services, contact them at info@patriothills.org. Again, that's info@patriothills.org. Visit patriothillsnewyork.com for more information about their services or how you can donate. Our veterans deserve no less. We can give it to them, and you can help.
You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets On Media Network.
All right, you're back on The Arms Room. You still with us, Darrell?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for waiting, man. So tell us more about the tactical athlete concept and kind of where that came from.
So the operational, Vertex is made for the operational athlete, and when you think about it, what the people who are, the term operator gets thrown around pretty loosely these days, but what it originally designed as is, somebody that's operating at high level at, that's going to take a lot of physical fitness and, dedication and training to be able to accomplish those things. If you look at, every single specialized unit in law enforcement, and then also, of course, in the military, those guys train their butts off. And so they are athletes. If you look at, CrossFit and all that other stuff, that stuff that's been going on in military and law enforcement training for years. It's just, when you're deployed and you don't have anything to work out with, that's when you grab a hammer and beat a tire or whatever. And so, by making products that fit the operational athlete that kind of fit into our mantra. For instance, one feature on our pant is it's cut on a 180-degree angle, and so we're showing that to a guy at one federal agency. He's like, "Oh, I can do spinning roundhouse back kicks with this," and I'm like, "Well, I can't, but you feel free," But it's all about having stuff that's non-restrictive, that's going to allow you movement, but it's not so big and baggy that you look like a soup sandwich. So the operational athlete is for the modern day warrior that takes care of him or herself, and that is aware that they might have to go from static and go dynamic at any moment. And so it's building apparel and gear for that not only that physique, but that mindset as well.
Well, I think the fit is a really important note to make too, because first of all, when I order Vertex pants, they are a true fit size. There's not all pants can do that, right? If I order them in my 32 size, when they show up, they fit perfectly. There's just a little bit of stretch in the waistband, so it's easy for me to get my my in waistband holster in. But when I order them, they're a perfect fit. The other thing is something that you mentioned. They don't look all big and baggy. And I've worn some true spec stuff over the years, and it's big and it's baggy, and like you said, the pockets look like a bag that someone sewed onto the side of the pants, and so it can be kind of tough when you're trying to wear those. If you're out in the field or you're operational, that's whatever. If you're expected to look that way, it's no big deal. But if you're trying not to look that way, it's really a bummer when you end up looking that way and your pants are super baggy, and you're like, these are like a one size fits all kind of thing. They just trim the waist down a little bit for me. And so the fit of the clothing is really big thing that I think most people overlook when they're looking at their pants. I mean, it's something that we're going to spend all day in, and they don't consider like how can I go from a sitting position very quickly, jumping out of the vehicle or moving very quickly, whether I'm fighting somebody or I'm running to save my kid, or maybe I just need to move quickly in the office or whatever. How your pants and how your clothing fits it really is a big deal, because it can totally limit your range of motion. And I've certainly something I've never found with Vertex is that they limit range of motion. So how do you guys design that kind of thing? Like, I'm always curious.
What I want to know is how they found my height, my waist, and my crotch all to be the same. Because in other brands, if I buy the right waist size, my crotch is to my knees.
Yeah, well, we specifically make products just for you guys for this show. Just want to premise that on the front end, so it doesn't sound like you guys are just blowing up for spot. No, but just kidding. It's all about the end user, man. It's talking to and working with the people that are out in the field and finding out what they like, what they don't like. What we did on the first go round was this agency. It's the creme de la creme of training, and they've got all the toys and all the bells and whistles. And so we would make product and we'd send them out in 34, 32s, 34, all the different core sizes, and the guys would wear them, and they take a Sharpie and they mark on the pants. Move this pocket here, change this here, needs to be longer, and so then then we get back, we take them back and go back to the design house and say, okay, let's tweak this, let's adjust that. And so it's really working with the end users, and not trying to pretend that we're ninjas or space shuttle door gunners or anything like that. And which a lot of it's really just about the end user. It's listening and designing, testing, and then producing. It's a pretty simple process once you break it down. It's just having the discipline to be true to yourself as a brand and not compromise and just come out with stuff just for the sake of it.
Now, tell us about some of the new products you guys have for this year, because I saw some new shirts, I saw some new packs, and I think a new range bag at SHOT Show, if I remember correctly. So tell us about some of the new stuff and kind of the direction that Vertex is going.
Yeah, absolutely. So at SHOT Show we launched our version 2.0 of our EDC line, which has been very well received. So we have some different sizes and different dimensions, different style bags, all of which the primary principle is to be able to get your firearm out quickly. And we went, more for the price conscious person that wants to try our products. So we have a less expensive backpack, but still has all the DNA and bells and whistles of a Vertex bag. And then we went, we flipped the script and went all the way to the other spectrum to, a briefcase that is a 3-in-1 briefcase. So you can, it's got a regular briefcase, handles, a shoulder strap, but then also turns into a backpack. But it's for that true prepared professional. So for that attorney, for that, doctor, for that CPA, whoever that's wearing a business suit on a daily basis and wants to have his firearm or his emergency, he or she wants to have firearm or emergency equipment with them, they can go into that professional setting and nobody's ever going to question that as far as what they're carrying, kind of like a tactical to me, if you will. Mm. And so then we've come out with a smaller range bag. We're calling it our B range. It's for the daily shooter, the person that's going to go to the range during their lunch break and they're going to bring 1 or 2 guns and 50, 100, 200 rounds of ammo. So it's that perfect. I can keep it in my car, and when I get a chance to run to the range and fire off a few rounds, which I try to do as much as possible, but not nearly enough. But it still has that DNA. It's completely lockable, so you can lock it and secure it in your vehicle for smash and grab prevention. And then we also we made an insert for our largest bag, our Gamut Plus, and so now you can have an insert that goes in that turns it into a wearable range bag. But also, it's just one of the key features that we like to do in our bags is we are not going to dictate to the end user exactly where or how they carry their items. So all of our bags are fully customizable with our Tacticool, which was a joke that I came up with one night after a couple beers. But it is tactical origami. You can, with this stuff, the way our design team put it together, you can carry, it's endless what you can carry in just a few pieces. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you think of a Molly pouch, if I want, a mag pouch, a flashlight, a flashbang, a radio, all this other stuff, I've got to have 50 different pouches for every item. Whereas with ours, you can have 2 and it'll fit, those 50 items. It's really a truly unique feature that we incorporate into our bags. And so, and that insert, going back to that, it can be used as a range bag, but also it could be used as an electronics bag. It could be used, for a number of things. It's got different separated compartments, and we'll be we launched them at SHOT Show. They'll be starting to ship in August, and we'll have them up on our website here shortly. But the next item that we're bringing out from our apparel side, I'm really excited about, is our new combat shirt. And so, going to the thought process of not being a Me Too company, the combat shirt's not a new concept. We've made the Marine Corps Frog uniform, the fire resistant outer gear, I think is what it stands for. So we've made combat shirts in the past, but really wanted to look at what was missing and from the combat shirt and really incorporating that into the piece. And basically it boils down to body temperature. And so we started working with a technology called 37.5 that I'm really excited about, and it's basically carbon particles that are infused into the thread level. And so basically what it does is it dries off about 6 times faster than anything else on the market. We've tested it with some guys in the special operations community, not to name names, but through several different DOD teams have tried this stuff. Plus we've tested it with law enforcement, and they all love it. Going from completely wet and where they're swimming to getting out and then training, and they just said it dried off. So what 37.5 does is uses evaporative technology to dry you off faster, and therefore your body is using less energy to keep you dry, which is going to matter when you're hot and also when you're wet. So it's a really neat technology. It will be we've gotten one of our outerwear pieces now, but with the combat shirt, really excited about this piece because people have been looking for that next great next to skin piece where you don't have to wear a base layer or anything like that.
So when is that going to be in something other than a combat shirt?
We currently have that in our integrity-based jacket, and then we're currently, I actually had a product development meeting last week that we're looking at doing. Can't quite comment on the number of pieces, but stay tuned. It's going to be a major part of our line moving forward. We've just, if you look up, it's 37.5, 37.5. If you just do a Google search on it, they have a really great video on how the technology works.
Because obviously that's something that sounds amazing for me from like an outdoor recreation perspective, but I'm not going to be rocking a combat shirt to go back to that whole gray man thing,
Oh, come on, man. You got to look like all the other mall ninjas.
Dude, I only rock combat shirts in ATEX, all right? Or Cryptech, or Multicam, or whatever the latest and greatest is.
It's funny. We were in the NRA annual meeting with last weekend. I actually just got back last night, and you walk around and you see some of these people, and you just gotta love them. It's like, God bless your heart, brother, America.
Oh yeah, so, dude. We got to tell you about this funny thing we do at SHOT Show. So we actually had a point ranking system at SHOT Show.
We had to completely rewrite our point ranking.
Okay, so we have a point ranking system, anyways, that we give certain people we see who are super operationally operators. We give them a point system, right? And so when we got to SHOT Show, we immediately had to revamp our entire point system. And so we had like about six of us there at SHOT Show. And as we were walking around, we were competing with each other about how many points each one of the people we would see, and it was everything based on, super operator tactical pants to, issued boots. What else we have? Camouflage, mismatched camouflage patterns. Things like that. So we have a lot of fun with that stuff, man, because it's
the NRA show was not a disappointment when it came to that. But, all in all, a great bunch of people with,
of course,
common values. It's just
we try not to make fun of them too much because we're all on the same team, but you got to find humor in it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not have gotten kitted up in Cryptech and played a little Call of Duty in the basement from now and then.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing at all.
Oh man. So I've got a big question for you about your pants. When is Vertex going to come out with like some jeans?
Man, you're killing me because I can neither
confirm nor deny.
Comment. I can confirm or deny anything on that. But you are not the first person to ask. I don't know if you know. Do you know Matt J. Cleese, our pro staffer?
I know who he is, but I do not know him.
Yeah, Matt's a great guy. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to firearms, but also training and everyday carry and all that other good stuff. He runs Victory First.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on me, heavy and hot about getting a pair of jeans. And the thing about jeans is that, it's kind of like the combat shirt. Is we could come out with a pair of jeans tomorrow, no problem. I can grab it. We're based on what we do, we have access to all the fabrics in the world. But it's putting that Vertex spin on it and what makes it special. What's going to separate it apart? Because there's been tactical manufacturers that have made jeans, and they suck because they're
just jeans.
It's a square peg in a round hole. I mean, and I that's how I came up in this industry through one of our competitors, and I think the world of them, and it got me where I am today. But it's really, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna take our time and do it, and it's a lot easier said than done, because jeans are one of those things that's personal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a pair of tactical pants, that's pretty personal. But you talk about jeans. I mean, are you a Wrangler fan? Are you a Levi fan? Are you a True Religion, or what are these other? By the way, just for the record, I'm completely not a True Religion not fan. Those are skinny jeans and me don't mix.
I was just going to see how many pairs of jeans you could name so that I could slip in a gay comment right there at the end. But
well, there's Lucky and there's Buckle.
Oh my God!
There's
Turn that mic
Bottom.
off. Turn that mic off.
John wears Buckle.
Yeah. I always started out halfway decent. I think I said Wrangler.
You said Wrangler and Levi. You started out well.
So again, it's and there might even be a thing to where we're able to find stuff that may look like denim, but it's not denim. It's something else. And so those are certain in the pipeline that have, it's on our mind. It's on our forefront. But it's definitely I can make some mom jeans maybe with a little bit of stretch in there. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I like jeans from, I hate denim because from like an outdoor perspective, or, like you were talking about drying off, from denim getting wet and then not drying off, or from an outdoor perspective of chafing and not riding right, they're not great. Denim is not a great
stretch. Denim is amazing.
But, I want that kind of non-tactical look. You know what I mean? It's like if you throw on a pair of jeans and, whatever, a pair of hiking boots or whatever, you just look like a country boy, but you're still just as functional as you were, wearing your tactical pants. That would be phenomenal. Because obviously jeans nowadays, I mean, regardless of whatever brand you wear, they're just not flexible. They just don't allow the movement, and that's an important thing. I mean, we'll see students who will come through some of our training courses, and they do everything from rip their pants, like you were talking about blowing the crotch out. I mean, they'll blow the crotch out, they'll rip the legs up. They'll find that as they're trying to get in different shooting positions or working out of a vehicle or something, they're limited in their mobility. And I just don't think people give enough credit to the, kind of pants that they're throwing on. They grab the cheapest $10 or $20 pair of pants and I think they're really kind of not getting the point. But most people, I guess, don't have to move around maybe as much as we do. I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, and that's the main thing, because if you think about it, I mean, like Jake Lee says, he needs enough ballroom to be able to move comfortably.
That's right, man. There's nothing worse than trying to get into a different shooting position. You just about pinched one of your testicles off. That's about not super awesome. But, hey, we got to take our last break, just a couple minutes, Darrell. And when we come back, we just kind of want to wrap up with just kind of, your final comments on Vertex and why people need to take a better, closer look at the kind of apparel that they're wearing, be they an operational athlete, be they law enforcement, military, or just, be a regular concealed carry person. So we're going to take quick breaks, a couple minutes, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Arms Room.
Veterans served us. Now it's time we serve them. As a veteran of Afghanistan and Iraq, as well as a current military member deployed abroad, I would like to take a minute of your time to tell you about Patriot Hills of New York. Patriot Hills of New York is a nonprofit organization providing support to veterans and their families. They partner veterans in need with over 65 health and wellness organizations, community groups, as well as philanthropic foundations providing no or low-cost services. They've helped over 400 veterans through confidential referral services, assistance with veterans issues, employment placement, as well as educational opportunities. If you just want to help veterans by donating your time or services, contact them at info@patriothills.org. Again, that's info@patriothills.org. Visit patriothillsnewyork.com for more information about their services or how you can donate. Our veterans deserve no less. We can give it to them, and you can help. Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey, everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552. Or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, we're back on The Arms Room with Darrell from Vertex. You still there with us?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you. So we got just a couple minutes left with you. Kind of tell us why everybody needs to take a better look at their apparel.
Well, I think number one, from a functionality and fit standpoint, it's one of those things to where if you're able to move more fluidly, if you're able to, get access to things easier, it just makes your life, it's one of those things where you might not even know that you've been restricted or not, wearing the proper items until you try something new. And, we've prided ourselves on who we make our product for. And that trend, once you keep that thought process and frame of mind, is that you're making this to where it could, very well could help a person get home to their family at the end of the day and take a serious, approach at that. You're going to make good product. So that's our biggest things: fit, functionality, and then the low profile aspect of it is really what sets us apart.
And that's really the big thing that sold me on Vertex to start with, is the low profile aspect. Again, you mentioned in the very beginning of the show, bumping into that guy at the coffee shop or whatever, where the guy, is wearing super tactical pants and he's printing with his handgun. And then you're like, hey, I totally know you have a gun. Now, maybe, you're more of the kind of guy that's going to, more like us, where we're kind of not looking specifically for it, but we're more likely to notice it, I think, than the average person. But understanding that on the other side of the spectrum, when we're dealing with bad guys or bad girls, whatever, criminals, right? Bad people, they're looking for the same stuff we're looking for.
Exactly. And that, when we, going back to the original design of the pants, the agency said, we want a don't shoot me pant. And they held up a pair of pants that everybody, in the tactical industry wears. And they said, we want the opposite of this.
Right.
And so that is, it's, and you're right. I do notice, I am looking, but as much as I fly, the air marshals, I like to talk to them whenever I see them, and because I'm really looking hard when I'm at the airport, it's really hard to completely conceal. So when I walk up and I start talking to them, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. Always prefaced with what I do and who I work for. Mm-hmm. But it's that tactical mindset. If you're the type of person that is going to have enough awareness to put a med kit, a first aid kit you get at Walgreens in your car because you think I might get in a car wreck, that's our customer. From one extreme to the other, to where you get into a Matt Jacquees Victory First guy who's uber prepared, but we run that whole gamut of just a tactical mindset and prepared professional. So people can find the entire Vertex line at wearvertex.com, right? Yeah, Wear Vertex, and then actually we've acquired vertex.com also. So just to make it easy, it's VRETX.com, and that has everything that we make on there. Awesome. And then you've got social media. I know you guys are on Facebook. We linked over to your Facebook, so I know it's there. Any other way that Vertex can be found? Is there any other social media stuff you guys do other than Facebook? Facebook is our main channel, Twitter, and then we're just getting. I'm trying to get our marketing department to allow me to have the reins of our Instagram. But I don't know if they trust me or not. Cool. I look forward to whatever pictures you would post on your Instagram. They'll all be very tasteful, I promise. Right on, man. Well, any parting comments for our listeners or anything else that you want to talk about? Just appreciate the time, and want to bring up where we'll be at next is the U.S. Concealed Carry Association is having their first ever expo, and we'll be there. And it's just north of Milwaukee at the end of May. It's Mother's Day weekend, so if you're a concealed carry holder you're up that way, be sure to stop by and see us. But just thanks again for your time, guys, and more importantly, thanks again for your service, and we appreciate having you guys having us on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you calling in and talking to us and giving us more information, and always taking the time. Every year we go to SHOT Show, your reps are always so knowledgeable, and they always take the time to explain everything to us and show us the bags and show us the equipment, which is great because it just makes us want to use it that much more. So appreciate all that and what you guys are doing with your company. So we appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in, Darrell.
I appreciate it. Next time I'll remember that y'all don't have daylight savings time and not freak out for an hour.
No worries, man. No worries. All right, dude. Have a good day, Darrell.
All right. Thanks, you too.
Bye. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I started getting phone calls. He was calling my cell phone at about 9:15 going, I'm trying to call in. I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
we don't do that whole daylight savings.
We're Arizona. We're the special flower of the Southwest. And we're the only ones who don't do daylight savings time, I think. So, but anyways,
we don't need it.
We don't. We have enough daylight.
America.
We have enough daylight. We don't need to be changing our clock. Arizona. That's what
Arizona.
So I want to mention today show brought to you by AR500 Armor. Check them out over at ar500armor.com. Check out their Instagram account.
Buy it.
Facebook account. Buy it. Again, they were yet again a great sponsor for our Veterans Appreciation Day. And I love working with them because, man, they're so
fantastic.
They're so fantastic. They just the whole crew down there are awesome people. So, if you haven't checked them out, check out AR500 Armor. I got some questions from veterans this weekend about it. They were going, well, how is it compared to SAPI plates? Well, look, it's heavier.
Significantly. But,
but it's less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's multi-hit capable.
It's more durable.
It's way more durable. It is thinner, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it is going to be heavier. Now, is this, do I want to grab a full plate carrier full of AR500 and go hump around the Afghan mountains? No, that would not be my equipment of choice, right? At that point, I would like to have SAPI plates. Understanding the limitations of the SAPI plates, I would rather have SAPI plates. I'd rather be rocking ceramics.
But AR500 also sells.
But AR500 also sells ceramics. So it's like if you're going, I'd rather have ceramics, then buy AR500 Armor ceramics.
I also really like the trauma pads that they make.
Yeah.
Because I'll be the first to admit, sorry, AR500, I wear SAPI plates only because I have them.
Sure.
But I throw a trauma pad that you guys make in there because it just rounds out the carrier. Even with soft armor, there's a lot of extra space. So I just threw that trauma pad in there and it just rounds it out pretty well.
It rounds it out. It prevents any energy transfer from back face deformation. For me, I like the trauma pads because they just add comfort to wearing the armor. A lot less shade fitting and pad between you and the armor, and they're under $40 for the pair.
I don't remember.
They're like $30 for the pair, $40 for the pair. Very well worth it.
Are we allowed to say what they donated for the thing?
Yeah, we can say what they donated.
I think it's really awesome. I want everybody to know they actually donated a front and back plate in a AR500 steel to the Veterans Day thing this weekend. So.
Plus trauma pads.
Yeah, and trauma pads for it.
Plus lots of T-shirts and hats and patches.
Outstanding. You should have seen the people's faces when we were like, and who wins the AR500 armor? They were like, we win a complete set of body armor?
Dude, there were Target companies who donated entire Target sets. Wilderness Tactical went.
Oh, yeah.
Who's been a guest on our show in the past. They went above and beyond. They donated belts. They donated gear bags. They donated all kinds of stuff. There were several companies who went way above and beyond.
All our sponsors did a lot of stuff and phenomenal. Made it a really awesome event. As a participant, I thought it was awesome. It was a great time.
So, again, these are the companies that you want to do business with. And just because we're talking about, I'm going to read that sponsor list again, because, people often ask us like, oh, what companies would you guys do business with? Local show that we did, we talked about that. Okay, well, here's the companies that are all local to Arizona. And then here's the ones that we prefer. Again, all you people who got your panties all up in a bunch about it. Preferred just means that those are the people that we would prefer to do business with first. It doesn't mean that we don't do business with anyone else.
People we have personal experience with.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we don't even recommend you do business with anybody else there on that list. It just means those are people we prefer. So kind of the same thing here. These are companies that we would prefer to do business with when possible. So I'll just read the list. Independence Training, HexMag, Cowtown Range, Wilderness Tactical, TCB Holsters, Buckeye Ammunition, The Arms Room, AR500 Armor, LRK Mechanical, Precision 3D Targets, Shooter Zoo, Fathom Arms, Modern Arms LLC, Battle Comp, Redwire Gear, Psionics Weapon Systems, and then, of course, Conserve Veterans for America, which the whole event was. So those are the people that are definitely putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to supporting the veterans and really giving back to those who've given a lot. So, try to do business with them first. A lot of those are Arizona companies. Of course, we're based in Arizona, so we have a little bit more of a bias towards them. But, a lot of those are veteran-owned companies. So great opportunity for you to go and get involved with some great companies. All right. Next week, we're going to have Scott Kelly from GrayWolfSurvival.com. Great blog about survival and kind of preparedness, things like that. He's going to be talking to us about travel safety. We talked a little bit about carrying weapons and tools in non-permissive environments in the past on the show, but Scott's going to talk to us specifically about travel safety. He's traveled all over the world and in a lot of different places, both hostile and non. And he's going to talk to us about kind of what we talked about today: how to blend in, how to be safe, how to get to know the local customs, how to not stand out, and mostly just how to be a safe traveler and have a good time. That way you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, am I being safe? And that takes the fun out of your travel or event or vacation or whatever. So that's what we've got going on next week. Until then, stay aware, stay safe, and train hard. Arms room.
So gallantly streaming, young rocket trembling, the bomb busting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled for the land, another free, you're the home of the brain.